Hiya. I've just come back from the Scottish Yarn Festival, which is in Perth, and it's the first time that I've been to the festival, although it's been running for several years now. And I had a great time. It's my first yarn festival since Edinburgh Yarn Festival back in 2019. So when I heard they had a festival this year, I thought, oh, I'd like to actually start going to in-person festivals again. So I went along. So I was just going to show you what I got. I didn't want to go there and just kind of get whatever. I made a wee list yesterday. So I was looking for some yarn for a contrast, to do a contrast yoke, so just one colour contrast yoke. I was potentially looking for a cardigan's worth of Aran or worsted weight yarn, and there was a few other bits and pieces, but I thought they were kind of the main two. So I'll show you what I got. So for the cardigan, I'm planning on making the Andrea cardigan by Andrea Mowry. It's a buttonless cardigan, but it has beautiful cables down the front, and it's in worsted weight. And so I saw this yarn. Now it's a big cake. I've never seen a cake of yarn this big before, but here we go. It's a big one, same size as my head. But this is because the lady just had it, what was remaining of it, on a big cone, and so she was just like, "How much do you need?" And so it was really good because I got what I needed. And this was from a shop called Folklore Yarn and Coffee, it says, and they're actually from Belfast. So that was good, new to me, but look at that. It reminds me of the Hedgehog Yarns recycled yarn that was used in another Andrea Mowry cardigan pattern. Is it called Beachcomber? It's beautiful. It's like all over. It's kind of very similar colours to this. It's all over cabled. So that's another possibility for this as well. But yeah, it's a bit more sheepy than I would normally go for, but it smells sheepy. But it actually doesn't feel too bad next to my skin. So I think for a cardigan, it should be fine. So that was my kind of yarn for a cardigan purchase, and that was from Folklore Yarn and Coffee in Belfast. And then the other thing that I really wanted to get was, so I've already got yarn to make the body of the sweater. Oh, I haven't got my, oh no, here it is. I'd made myself a wee swatch of the main colour to take with me to the festival, so that I could, so that's the swatch of the main colour that I'm going to use. And the jumper that I want to make is the Sheep Camp Sweater by Native Knitter, and I'd seen a really lovely version of it by Stephanie, who does the Eats Thoughts Makes podcast. Edible Thoughts Makes podcast. Check her out. She's an amazing knitter. She did a beautiful version of the sheep camp sweater, and so I thought I'm going to give that a go. So this is going to be my main colour for the main body of the sweaters, but I wanted a contrast to go with it. So initially I'd been doing like a swatch and thinking of all different colours that I could try, but ultimately I thought I'd either go for really, really dark chocolate brown or a really, really dark blue, like almost kind of black blue and almost kind of black brown. So what I found was, so I actually found a couple of possibilities. So my first is this gorgeous kind of very dark damson plum from Edelweiss fibres, and this is called Samhain, after the solstice. It's not solstice festival, is it? But it's one of the festivals that, it's one of the Celtic pagan festivals. I'm forgetting which one it is, but it's coming up soon, and it's usually around the same time as Halloween. Anyway, so that's what it's called. But it's, and I think that one is gonna look really good as a contrast colour work yoke to that. And then the other one that I got, just because I love this person's yarn and I've been eyeing it up for quite a while, but just on the website. And when I saw it in the flesh, I was like, oh, this is just gorgeous. I'm gonna have to get some of this. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but it's Iola yarns. IOLAIR yarn, and look at that. Oh, it's just gorgeous. I don't know if it's actually going to have enough contrast for a yoke, but it's DK, so I can always incorporate it into something else. But this is just, oh, it's just beautiful. Look at the shine on that. It's actually baby alpaca, silk and cashmere, this one, so it's a bit special. And I think ultimately this one is not, I don't know, kind of, I'm looking at it on the camera and I guess it's looking a bit more bronzy on the camera maybe than it is in real life, but yeah, I don't know, I'll try it, but I suspect that this one is going to be the one that I use. Oh yeah, I think that's the one, but I'll try them both, see how it goes. So that was Edelweiss fibres, which again is new to me, and this is a superwash BFL, blue faced Leicester. And yeah, and then the other one, the Iola yarn, which is just gorgeous. So they were the kind of main two things that I was like, I would really like to get those, and anything else is a bit of a bonus. So then I got, yeah, the other yarn that I got, I really like self-striping yarn, and there was a stall by Mrs. Lamb Yarns, and this is a self-stripe called Mooncake, and this is in celebration of another festival, a moon festival, and so this looked really lovely when I saw the one that had been knitted up. And I love the moon. I love anything to do with the moon, a little bit obsessed with the moon. So anything that celebrates the moon and an actual festival, I thought that's my jam. That's got my name written all over it. So yeah, that's Mrs. Lamb Yarns, and it's a merino, superwash merino and nylon fingering weight sock yarn. So that was a nice kind of bonus bit of yarn. And then what else did I get? Yeah, then I went to who it's actually. So the pattern says that it comes from We Country Yarns, and it's this pattern, Harold Fatmas, yeah, Harold Fatmas, and hopefully you can see it, but it's just the cutest little mouse, which in real life is about this big, and you can kind of fill it with rice or beans or whatever at the bottom, and have it as like a doorstop, or just have it as, you know, on your shelf. And I'm a total sucker for little things like this. It's so cute. So I bought the pattern because I didn't need to buy any yarn for that, because I've got plenty of like little bits and bobs that I can use to do like the colour work and stuff. And I'd made Ysolda had a, or still has, I think it's just called Mousy. I think it's called Mousy. And it's like a mouse toy, and it's maybe it's weird. It's maybe about this big. So I should still have some grey and pink yarn. I mean, I made it a long time ago, but I'll still have like the leftover yarn from that. So that's probably going to be knitted up in that. And then, yeah, for the little Fur Isle jumper, as I say, I've got loads of bits and bobs of yarn that I can use for that. So I just fell in love with that and just thought it was so cute. And that'll be a nice one to kind of make up and have you know, peeking out from a shelf somewhere. And then the next thing, I've got quite a few project bags, but I'm working on a hat at the moment for my husband, and it's just like one skein of yarn. And so I saw this little bag and I thought, do you know what, that's going to be perfect for just like a one skein project. So I don't know if you can see, but the cat has roller boots on. So I love cats. And so I thought that's cool. So I got this from a store, Needle and Thread. And they had such beautiful like yarn as well, really beautiful colour palette, like slightly muted but orange and burgundy and yellow and gold and really autumnal jewel kind of colours, really beautiful. Burgundies as well. So I didn't need to buy any more yarn at that point because I got the yarn that I needed to get, but yeah, I took a wee card and also took a wee picture of like some of the yarn colours that I really liked, so I'll definitely like be checking them out again. So that was good. And then the last thing was a wee needle case. Now I've been meaning to make myself a needle case for a long time, and clearly never got around to doing it. So I thought, you know what, I love this, so I'm going to get it. So it's the yeah, what does that say? Trava and Wool is the name the lady goes by. And so she hand dyes the material. She uses kind of secondhand material and like material from like charity shops or material that she already has, and then she hand dyes the material, and then also obviously embellishes with embroidery. And I just thought this was so lovely. She also had yarn, but again, I didn't need to get any more yarn by this point. So, but I just thought that's such a nice little needle case, and I need one, and it'll save me having to make one. So I can get a lovely, beautiful, handmade needle case, then everyone's a winner. Because I don't know about you, but I always do. I'm like, oh yeah, I can make myself a needle case. I can do that. Yeah, I've got bits and bobs. And then, do I make myself one? No, I don't. So I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to treat myself and get one because this is so pretty, and I'm starting to really like things that use kind of like fabric that already exists, or materials that already exist, or that are hand dyed. I think she said that this was with onion skins. Did she say? Yeah, I think she said this was with the onion skins, because then she went on to say she was trying to do things with red onion skins as well, and they hadn't worked out as well for her. Something it seemed like she wasn't getting it consistent, but I think this was the yellow onion skins. Anyway, so that was a nice treat. So that's my haul from the Scottish Yarn Festival. I really enjoyed it. My first time there. It was good to be back, seeing yarn and be able to squish the yarn and hold it up to your face, and just to kind of like see all the different types of yarn. There seem to be definitely like two camps. There's the yarn dye, the independent yarn dyers who dye all the lovely colours and do beautiful degrees of colours in their own palettes and the palettes that they like, and that maybe tends to be like kind of superwash, Blueface Leicester or merino and that kind of thing, like quite a lot of fingering weight, quite a lot of sock weight. And then there seems to be the other side of things, which is the kind of heritage yarn, or like traditional yarn from fleece, yarn that's a bit more sheepy, a bit more toothy, and those tend to either be natural dyed or just left the colour of the fleece, and so there are fewer variations in the colour. It'll be like mainly neutrals, like whites and beiges and greys, browns, blacks sometimes. So there seems to be those, there definitely seem to be that kind of split. And I was potentially looking for some sport weight yarn, but I know when I've tried to look for sport weight yarn before, it's actually really hard to find that weight. And I can understand why independent dyers can't do, all of the weights, because, that's not going to work out monetarily for them to do that. So it's not criticism, but it's interesting to kind of see the types of the weights of yarn that kind of were cropping up. But anyway, I was very pleased with what I got, and there was such a vast range of things, like something for everybody, and it was really good. And hopefully there'll be another one that I can go to next year. Okay, hope you enjoyed seeing my haul, and see you later. Bye.